Here's some spooky dookie. Motherfucking what type of intro was that? Halloween Horror Night 31? At Universal Orlando. Because Hollywood fucking sucks. I have no idea if that's true. But take off your pants, Jack Schmidt, because the Dooker is gonna be your caretaking proctologist as I rank houses from worst to best and maybe even talk about the event. Will this list be serious? Maybe. But you're already here, so why don't you stick around like a sweaty dick on your leg from the Orlando October heat at Halloween Horror Nights. Number 10, Spirits of the Coven. You know what's awesome? 1920s speakeasy aesthetic. You know what sucks? Hag witches. Mix them together and add in what by all appearances is an understaffed house and you get Spirits of the Coven. What's the password? How about your mother? Stop yelling at me about the password. Number 9. Universal Monsters Legends Collide. Yo, what the fuck happened here? Universal Monsters in 2019 redesigned the classics with an updated, horrifying design. And then followed up with The Bride's Revenge, which told a simple, compelling story. Legends Collide would give Anakin Skywalker PTSD from all the damn sand. Once again. Every walkthrough I've had, there are clearly scares missing due maybe to staffing issues? But the prevalent problem becomes from the oversaturation of one character, the mummy. There's like a 3-to-1 ratio of mummies to other monsters in this house. If I was CM Punk, I'd be fighting them in a locker room just to even it out. The story isn't well displayed, so you're just asking yourself, where's the next mummy gonna come from? Until you find yourself crying on a roller coaster. But what ranks this house so low on the list? Because of how high the bar was set by the other run of houses in this series. Number 8, Descendants of Destruction. Cityscape, cool. Subway, oh that's fun. I hope I don't get dead from the exposure though. But when you start throwing in gully suits and zombies, like what the fuck, Fallout? Big vault door! The only Fallout that I want is Fallout from my group of friends after I trick them into a pyramid scheme that actually turns out to be like a hostile situation. Night Style Kyle, you will be missed. Number 7, Bugs Eaten Alive. If I had a veto house, this wouldn't be it. I just can't imagine a chemical-based backstory in a haunted house could possibly go wrong. The way this house was hyped leading up to the event, maybe I was expecting something different? Maybe not to go so far as maggots in my scrotum, but I was expecting a little more in the unnerving bug department. Like you had a few bug costumes, a bug prop or two, and a set piece here and there, but it was mostly just little plastic toys glued to a wall. Now, if you have trypophobia, this house might fuck with you a little bit, as the majority of the house are gonna be people with half their faces gushed open from hatching eggs. Ain't my problem though, because my problem is trypophilia. But you won't seduce me, house. My standards are too high. Number 666. The Horrors of Blumhouse. Blumhouse? More like Dumbhouse. Am I right? Actually, I'm wrong. What? All right, we're turning the corner a little bit. Positivity. Ish. I have a long-standing disinterest as Blumhouse is a movie studio, and the Blumhouse Blumhouses are typically no exception. No exception? No mercy! I went in expecting this to be my bottom house. You've got Freaky that can freaking get lost, and the black phone doesn't lend itself to a prolonged house experience, but they managed to make it work. They followed Freaky's story and the switch well enough that you could understand it, and the black phone had key scenes from the movie with a workable transition, given you were mostly going through the same room. Look at y'all stepping up your game. Number 5, Halloween. With the lack of sex appeal in this house, I should have rated it lower. I wanted Michael Myers, nipples out, charging me with a knife. Or maybe one of those giant head gimmicks they started using at Horror Nights recently. You know the ones I'm talking about. That'd have been real funny for the people afraid of Michael Myers. And here we are again, a Michael Myers house. I thought it was tired. In the last 8 years, this is the 4th time we've had Michael Myers fucking about. Do you not have another property that was well received that you could have a synergistic tie-in for? Did I tell you to stop? However, this house was good. It was staffed well, and while I complained about the overuse of a singular character in Legends Collide, here it's understandable. Halloween is Michael Myers. Look what happened when they tried to change it. The house contains great misdirect, and it follows the movie incredibly well. They even included the scene where all the Michaels are hanging out in a hall of mirrors. Evil doesn't die tonight. Number 4, The Weekend After Hours Nightmare. Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend on a Wednesday or Thursday. Honestly, I don't know where else to put this house. I didn't hate it. It's up there with Halloween as their big IP this year, and hey, it's a pretty neat house. Sure, the HHN gatekeepers are whining about it in the forums or the comments section, but they barely count as people, let's be honest. Given the money that they sank into it, I'm sure they put plenty of care into this house and collaborated with The Weeknd himself. I could be wrong. Just don't visit it on the actual weekends. Number 3. Hell Block Horror. What the fuck? Why is it so hot? Everyone hates you fucking have. You didn't like insert house. But this one is number 3? It's my list. Go fuck yourself. This house features cool throwback references, and if you retcon your mind, it could be the Doom house. Or call it the Rick and Morty house. Intergalactic, interdimensional, prisoner, escapees. It's fun, it's simple, and because everybody's either at Halloween, the Weeknd, or Blumhouse, the wait isn't too long. Number 2. Dead Man's Pier. Winter's Wake. Everyone gushes about this house, and I'd argue rightfully so. Immersion is the key when it comes to haunted houses, and Dead Man's Pier knocks it right out of the port. Although Spooky Fisherman isn't really my go-to horror trope, everything in this house is so hauntingly relaxing that I'm willing to look past it and continuously give my number to the violin siren until they have to move her again. If you're looking to do at least one of the houses, this is the one to check out. Number 1. Fiesta de Chupacabras. Here we go, here's my favorite. I mean, the best house. Because it is all based on factual data. Getting lured into a town party only to be sacrificed to the Latin American werewolf in... Cool, non-problematic wordplay. I love this concept. And once again, city, town, setting. The impression that you're boogieing through alleyways and houses while the chupacabra is trying to bite new holes into your old holes. Oh no, I'm turned on again. Is executed extremely well. No overuse on the well-designed puppets. Less is more in this case. And the case file I'm making for this is the best house. So there you go. Undisputed. Factual. And not at all a sliding scale based on my preferences and experiences in the houses themselves. But what about the event? I can tell you this year's Halloween Horror Nights is pretty skippable. Staffing and licensing issues, coupled with the incest baby that it is not an anniversary year, has offset the fact that while there are some good houses this year, the event itself seems pretty underwhelming. The scare zones aren't engrossing or fun, aside from Sweet's Revenge. Ghoulish might as well just been Marathon of Mayhem again, why did we get rid of that? And Nightmare Fuel Wildfire, while is extremely talented, and just feels samey. A byline in my thought process is that Halloween Horror Nights has built such a strong brand that people will go regardless. But if they're gonna base their event around IPs, and it becomes a trend that the IPs that they base it on are becoming less and less relevant, their biggest moneymaker might not be getting the returns they're expecting. And at this point, if they're not going whole hog on IPs, they need to go back to marketing around an original icon. There's no reason the Pumpkin Lord, as popular as he was, couldn't have been all over the commercials this year. You put him on all the merchandise and then you build towards a showdown between him and Jack at the next anniversary. Hire me! And normally you can forego focusing on all the negative and possibly underwhelming nature of the event, most if not all of which have nothing to do with the cast. Let me reassure you. This is more on a creative side. But as this becomes increasingly the case, the event is too fucking crowded. And as a frequent Fear Pass owner, I'm part of the problem, by all means. It's great because it does make the event less stressful because you're not rushing to get to every house. You can take your time, you can enjoy it, you can come back on other nights if it's too busy. But everybody fucking gets these things. You're part of that small percentage of people that can only come for one night. You're not getting through everything. Hell, you're not really getting through anything. And for at least $80 for a single night pass, that's a fucking ripoff to not to experience the bulk of the event. And it's not like you can plan your night out because the wait times that they're posting are constantly inaccurate. There'll be 45 or 55-minute wait times that turn into 2 hours. A group of friends can only play so much heads up in line. But don't worry, friends, because after we just lost a fifth of the night because fucking Bugs was actually an 80-minute wait and not the 30 that it said, hey, we can go to Bottleneck the Scare Zone with Great Value Elvira while half of the people are standing there in everyone's way and the other half are drunkenly pushing each other through the scare zone while standing still. Golly gee, I'm hungry and I want to try one of those specialty drinks. Better figure out which house I don't want to do because I won't have time for both. Unlike my legs, this video has gone on too long already. If you love Horror Nights unequivocally, nothing I say is going to change your mind, and I don't want you to hurt yourself doing mental gymnastics to defend what is actually a subpar event. But if you're one of the few that saw the lineup and you're still a little hesitant about dropping the money, and we're about halfway through the season at this point, here's a word of advice. Oh! Horror Nights has been and can be better. They expect you to shell out well over $100 to come to this event. Hold them to that standard. Things aren't immune from criticism simply because they exist. Be the innovative premier haunted houses you claim to be. And get a new fucking icon, please.